Of the area is utilized for the best possible time. And you know what? Next. We must utilize it to provide focused programming to meet the following needs of the community. Now, please note, anybody who made the presentations before, if I contradict you, it is not intentional, not meant in a negative way. Next. How many of you have come across this fellow by the name of Abraham Maslow? Anybody ever heard of him? Good, thank you. Now, this fellow, psychology, sociologist kind of person, says that, human beings have certain basic needs. He says there's the physiological needs. That is, next. We need water, food, clothing, and shelter, but in this psychological need, we need somebody to listen to us. Now, how many Mondays you can go to where people are listening to you? You go to listen to what's going on, right? Oh, Panditji, I want you to listen to me. Sorry, make an appointment. There is no attempt to understand the problem. There is no caring. There is no loving. Now, Panditji, you mean Mondays are not? Yes, we are very loving, but is that loving outreaching? There is no forgiving and there is no counseling. Now, if you're Catholic, and I'm no disrespect against the Catholic Church, and you did something wrong, and you feel you have to confess your sins, there's a process. You go, you stay in an enclosed area, you tell the priest your story, he forgives you, he tells you go home and do so many rosaries, and I've absolved you of your sins. What does a Hindu do when they commit a sin and they feel they have to confess? Anybody else? Go to the Ganges and bathe. Very good. Boys, you know what you're doing, right? Obviously, we don't even have an answer for this. My point is here, there is a process, but we do not know the process. Next slide, please. Environment and atmosphere that promotes a sense of belonging, part of the family. Imagine you're a new member, you just immigrated to Canada or the United States, and you feel good that there's a mandir in your neighborhood. And you go there that afternoon, and you walk inside, and everybody's there. You walk in, and you bow, and you pranam to the Panditji, but no one asks you anything. Well, who are you? Why are you here? But you're obviously standing out as someone who's lost. You've just been there for the first time. Where is the greeter in the mandir? Who greets people and knows that they're new? Oh, you must be new. Welcome to this mandir. Oh, my name is so-and-so, and by the way, oh, you have a child. Oh, yes, and have all this information and makes that person feel so warm and nice that when they go home, wow, this is such a nice place, this America. Not because America is a nice place, because the mandir made them feel at home. Where does that happen? Where is that programming that teaches that to the mandir? So really, immediately they feel a part of the community. Now, you don't have to ask them for money, by the way. When the time comes for them to give, they remember the first day they came, how they felt. But if the first day they came and they felt like a stranger, when you ask them for money, what are they going to tell you? You know the answer. Next, please. Honesty and integrity in mandirs. Oh, that should be natural, shouldn't it? Is it natural? Oh, don't bow your heads now, please, everybody. Our mandirs are spending more money in courts than they're spending in feeding the poor. Not true? Good. Give him a round of applause. I'll talk to some lawyers that are going to send you the bills that they've been collecting from some of the mandirs. The reality is, if they're spending one dime on lawyers, it's one dime too much. When they are fighting amongst themselves, because there's no honesty and integrity. By the way, I said that I'll be saying some things that some of you may take an offense, and if you do, you shouldn't. You know what you're doing right. Don't be concerned. If the hat fits, wear it. If it doesn't, be quiet. Next. The physiological needs. I've seen some mandirs posted information that they have soup kitchens. Wonderful things. How many Hindus have you ever seen line up at a soup kitchen? At a Hindu mandir? We don't do that. I remember in Ram Mandir we started a program when there was a real depressive state, and we said we will give food baskets out to the needy families. And I personally knew families who really needed that food basket. We made an announcement in the Mandir. By the way, some businessmen agreed that Panditji, whatever you want, you just tell me how many baskets you want. We'll prepare it, we'll bring it to the Mandir, you give. Well, we had the baskets prepared, and they were brought to the Mandir, a dozen of them. We announced it on the Sunday, nobody collected any of them. I was kind of stunned by, why is this? And people are going to the food bank. But then after about 2 or 3 weeks, I know these families need it because I know I personally talked to them. So one evening, I took 2 baskets, I put them in my car, and I visited 2 families, and I took it and dropped it off. And they said, thank you, Panditji. It's very nice of you. I didn't ask them why they didn't come and pick it up themselves. I realized then that the Hindu pride is still great, and it's good to have it. But because our pride doesn't allow us to stand in a soup kitchen, and that's good. So we have to find other means to help our people. We have to find other means to outreach to them, because our mentality and our way of thinking is totally different. Next, please. Move on. The self-actualization that Abraham Maslow talks about is maybe can be closely related, but not very close, to what we call self-realization. Next. We must establish and maintain programs that nurtures the foundation of a child's academic and spiritual development. Yes, we have classrooms in a mandir, but what's happening in these classrooms? I can show you mandirs that have classrooms that aren't occupied more than 1 hour a day, or 1 hour a week, that is on Sundays and Saturdays. No. The Jewish community and the Catholic communities have classrooms that are full every day, because they perform the academic curriculum plus the one that is relevant to the culture and religious needs of the community. Next. Facilitate programs that will awaken the desire to study our philosophy. That they must want to read the Ramcharitmanas, they must want to read the Hanuman Chalisa, they must want to read the Bhagavad Gita, they must want to do it. Not because mom says do it, or dad says you have to. They have a desire to read it. Next. Help people to understand the true purpose, their true purpose in life. Now, which mandir has a program to do this? That says that in those words. Our objective, we have all of the facilities, we have all of the things to do this, but our methodology needs to be reviewed. I remember once, as a management consultant many years ago, when I looked very young and I had black hair, I walked into a factory where there were lots of Italian ladies working for 10 years, and they were making little widgets. And I was told that their performance was terrible. We have to increase productivity, and they need to do things different. When I walked into that factory and says, ladies, you got to change the way you're doing it. It says, you little boy, you come 2 days, you tell me I don't know? They've been doing it for 10 years the same way and don't intend to change. Because whatever they did, they thought was the best thing. Many of us are doing the same thing in our mandirs, and it's been done over and over again. We need to change. As such, we need to look at a new methodology, a new approach. Next. By addressing the issue from a more contemporary perspective, but with guidance from the Hindu dharmic concept. Now, how many of us have ever learned music? Gone formally to a music school? Put your hands up, don't be shy. Good. How many of you learned to play harmonium in that process? Good. Now, let's talk about playing a harmonium. When you're playing a harmonium and if you're singing, let's see what do you do. If you're right-handed like I am, your left hand will be pumping the bellows, is doing this. And your right hand is doing this. So you are simultaneously operating 2 of your hands, not synchronized. If you're singing a song, you must have the melody of the song in your mind. Then, you must remember the words of the song, and then you must be in tune to the rhythm that is being played by the percussionist and if there's other instrument. Isn't that multitasking? Did we ever tell our children that they will learn if they go to music classes? That's an example of the new approach to promoting our culture and dharma.